Okay, so this is the Judy Jam, September 11th, 2019, and I'm Judy Carter, and we have some people here, and we're going to start with something not so funny, your Holocaust story, right?
Right.
So let me just go to it. All right, this is what you sent me. Why don't we start where her story starts? Okay. All right, do you want to read it?
Oh, no, I don't think it's the last one.
Oh, this isn't the right one?
No. Let me.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it. All right, just give me 1 second.
I sent it this morning.
You sent it this morning, huh?
Okay. Let me do it again.
That's weird. Do you want to try sending it again, or?
I am sending it to you again. To
Okay.
Timoy.
Yeah. Okay. Send that one more time.
Timoy or Judy
It's
Carter?
send it to Judy at judycarter.com, and I will get it. Meanwhile, while I'm just waiting for that, and I'll have you next. I have Madonna here. And
Hi, Judy.
Hi, Madonna. Good to see you and your shining face. So
Yeah.
I have, let's see. So this isn't the right one for anti-Semitism, but let's look. Madonna.
I just sent it.
Okay. I'll get it in a second. Okay, Madonna?
Yes.
I see something religious here. What is this exactly that you're doing?
Well, I was asked by a preacher
Yeah.
at a Black church about giving a keynote to help inspire Black kids to pay attention in school and to get away from being dumb. Wait a minute. Being Black and smart is dumb. And that's what the keynote is going to be addressing. And as a retired educator, sure, I went for it. And then he wants 4 breakout sessions too to really send the message home.
Okie doke. Okay, and how are you writing that? Are you following the outline that is the speech writing module? Are you following that?
What I did was I just started writing, and as I was writing, as you get into the speech, I remembered the things that you said about the call to actions. And
all right, well, will be good for everybody. Okay. And I'll show you how to write a speech, and I think that might be valuable for everybody. Okay. So okay. All right, so this is in module 2, how to write a speech, okay? And how long is this speech supposed to be?
It's supposed to be 25 minutes. I started, and then
great.
Brad comes in.
All right, so let me just do some improv with me. So what is the problem and what is your solution? Tell me just briefly in 1 minute. Go ahead.
The problem is that there's a lot of Black kids who go to school who don't appreciate education. And the ones that are smart and the other kids find out about it, they tell them that being smart is dumb, and then they harass them.
So let's do some, they tell them, hey, being dumb is smart. You know, like, you know what I mean? Do it like with act outs. But that was perfect, okay? So that's how you start your speech. We have to know what you're talking about.
All right.
Okay. And now, so now it's like the audience say, well, why should I listen to you? So tell the problem that the audience is having. So these are kids?
Okay. The problem is that the Black kids are buying into the fact that not paying attention in school is a good thing, like a status thing.
right? And what are the consequences of that?
Well, the consequences is that because they're not paying attention in class and not investing in themselves, is that they might just wind up as a statistic of being another black male in jail. And
Well,
my
that's a little, if I'm a black kid, I'm listening to someone older saying, like, you better listen, you're going to end up in jail. That's that's kind of a big jump.
yes, it is.
You got to build up to that. So you've got to really go into why is this a problem, lack of education. So, and you have to do it in a way that appeals to kids. So
Yes.
it's kind of like a song that Britney Spears sings. You want a Maserati? You got to work it, bitch. You know that
Okay,
song?
okay.
You want to, go out to nice restaurants? You want to have a job without a hat, where you don't wear a hat that says welcome to Burger King, and would you like fries with that?
Okay, okay,
What do you
gotcha.
guys want in your life? How many of you would like a BMW? Like, how many of you, these things just don't happen. There
Okay.
are real steps that you can really have what you want. And it all starts with right now. So you got to really convince me, because if I hear someone stand in front of me and I have attitude already, and they go, you better listen to school or you're going to end up in jail, screw you,
Exactly. You're right.
It's right. So you really got to go, listen, the system is effed up, but this is how it works. If you don't get your high school degree, right, I'll tell you, and then the whole notion of being cool and being dumb, like, if you think it's cool to drop out, right, then you better think it's cool to not be able to take a date out for dinner. You might think, because how many girls really go, my God, this guy is so great. He doesn't drive a car. We take the bus together, and he lives in the worst part of town. Yeah. Do you think any woman would want you? No. So you got to really go, what is the problem that's happening, in a way that they will understand?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the audience's problem? And this goes on for, 10 minutes, and it is like that song, you better work it. and then you repeat the core promise. So today, let's just talk about how you can be cool being successful. Because, right? Okay, then you go, well, let me talk to you about it. Now you can tell a credibility story, and you tell a story of a kid who graduated, and now this, and by the name, his name is Quincy Jones. I don't know what story you tell, but it's a credibility story. And then you go, okay, so the first step is, and have some things that you tell them another way, and then it's like a story attached. Now you start telling your stories.
Okay, and I do have a story.
Why is this so important to you? It's so important to me because you tell your heart story. And then you have, so how many are you willing to show up on time at school? How many are willing to blah, blah, blah? And then you do your call to action. And that is how you write a speech.
Okay, how many of you are willing
Yeah, but this is all module 2. Just go through module 2. I mean, it's all there for you. If you go, you watch module 2 and you write your speech, just improvising and recording it, you've got it done. It's like a no-brainer. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, very, very, because I did present this speech the other night to some people.
Yeah.
And they liked the content, but they thought that I should really work it so that I'm speaking to the kids so that the kids will understand me.
All right, kids, how many of you, let me just take a little survey here. Let's just take a little survey. How many of you would like to drive, or just do it where they're at? I don't know where kids are at, but give it something that they would like. How many of you, when Cardi B comes in town, you can buy a box seat? I don't know what it is that they want. How many of you would like to paint a picture? Well, guess what? That's not going to be your life unless.
Okay.
I mean, I've spoken to high school kids, and I was telling them about what a great the life I had, and how it started off really rocky, you know,
Uh-huh.
and family and abuse and that, and they were really listening, because
Yes.
I was saying, look, I have no job, I make enough money, I have a 5-bedroom, 5-bath house from telling jokes. Do you want to hear how I got there? And they were like,
Oh, okay.
yes, right.
Oh, okay.
So it's like,
Okay.
how do you get to these places,
Okay.
right? So there's that. So all good. Um, I'm going to do Victoria in a moment,
All
but
right.
hi everybody. I want to show you guys. Well, I guess let me do Victoria, but there's something I really want to show you about how to write a speech. That's just so helpful because people pay me to write speeches for them. And so after I've done about 20 of them, I've got a system that seems to work, and I'll share it with you, of how it's done. And it's a fun way to write a speech. It just breaks it down, because sometimes when you think, oh, I got to give an hour speech or a half-hour speech, whatever it is, it's kind of overwhelming. So this is a great way to break it down. Okay, so Madonna, I hope that helps.
Yes.
Go through that and do that. All right, so let me get to Lori. I have something from Lori here, and Keto. And let me get this from Victoria. New homework. All right, you guys. All right, so this is speaking about growing up as a Holocaust survivor. All right. And a little uplifting comedy here. Some comedy. Okay. All right. So which part do you want to do of this? You want to start with the story?
Yeah.
Where does the story start?
Oh, well, that's the
Oh, this is a story.
it's
Okay.
my story. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's okay. Where do you want to just read this, or go ahead, read it? Go ahead.
Okay. If we are all one, regardless of religion or skin color, there would be no hatred. We need to take responsibility for our own action instead of finding someone to blame and to hate. I had a front row seat to watching my mom suffer from PTSD. For many years, she would hide and avoid talking about her past. I sat and watched with an aching in my heart as she would jump at every unexpected noise, fearing her past was closing in on her. I wrote a book about my mom, surviving as a 10-year-old Jewish orphan hiding in the forest alone, without any food, proper clothes, and shelter. A little girl terrified of her own shadow, hungry and afraid. Getting this book started was very difficult. I kept telling my mom, write your story, but she didn't want to do it. Finally, I decided to write it for her. I knew that it wasn't about telling her story that stopped her from writing it herself. It was about feeling alone again with her past as she recounted the events. So I wanted to help her to heal. But while writing, the experience changed my life completely. I never saw my mom crying growing up, and I was not allowed to cry myself, even if I had my regular 5-year-old tantrums. While writing the story, I realized that it was in her nature to be tough and to never show weakness because of what she went through. She always said, "Mind over matter." Where is helped me to stay alive.
Oh no.
Okay. Can you scroll down?
Where are we?
Oh yeah.
Brought her back, mind over matter. Okay.
No, it's a little bit up. Higher.
Up.
Yeah. No, higher. You skipped. Yeah. Well, yeah. It reminded me of a recent incident involving my 5-year-old grandson when he has one of his too many tantrums. I take him in my arms and hold him for as long as he needs to calm down. While I hold him in my arms, he said through his tears, I understand I'm wrong, but I would like to stop, but I can't. The memory flashed in my mind, and I remembered how I could not stop crying myself, annoying my parents. It was healing for me to comfort him because no one waited patiently for me to calm down when I was growing. My mom lost her parents before World War II started at the age of 8, which led her to be placed in the orphanage with her 10-year-old sister, Sonia. The orphanage wasn't home, but they made a life there, and everything was okay. Mind over matter again. That is until World War II started in the summer of 1941. Just months earlier, my mother, now 10 years old, watched as her sister went away to summer camp. So now she was truly alone. You see, when the war started, everyone was taking care of themselves, even the caretakers of the orphanage left the orphans unattended, deciding that their families were more important. Seeing no other options, my mom fled with everyone else and ended up on a territory that was soon occupied by Germans. Germans came to the new orphanage and were looking for Jewish orphans to be exterminated for the cause, and my mom was the only one there. Fearing for her safety, one of the caretakers sent her to hide in the forest with no food, shelter, or proper clothing. There she hid for 7 months. When she was hungry, she had to risk her life to find food in the village trash, sneaking at the crack of dawn or at the dead of night, knowing that if the Germans would find her, she would be killed. She was barely alive when the Germans retreated, and the orphanage staff found her in the forest and brought her back, mind over matter again. Knowing that I know now about my mother's past, I'm glad I have the chance now to make up for my past mistake. Instead of letting her suffer alone, I listen now and let her open up. Start taking to someone in your start listening to someone in your family or one of your friends. Everyone's life matters and should not pass in vain. Just listening to someone's story can significantly improve their life. Every life you learn about broadens your soul. Even if you don't write a book, you will learn about the truth, learn empathy, love, courage, and resiliency from it. Parents are protecting their children nowadays from learning about the many wars of the past and the present. The only war many kids know today is Star Wars. Yes, science fiction is great to escape the tragedies of the real world, but even these movies serve a purpose. They teach about an evil empire built on hatreds, anger, and fear. However, they also teach what happens when a few kind souls stand together and fight back. They teach about how history is important and knowing it.
Okay, let's hold it right here. Okay, let's hold it because we kind of came out of this story. Okay,
Yeah.
Victoria, I find this very interesting. I like your approach to it. That it's like it's become your story.
Right.
I think that could be a bit clearer. And I like this. I had a front row seat to watching my mother suffer from PTSD. I like the idea of like, I need you, here's your assignment. Add at least 5 act outs of your mother where you do your mother's voice. Scenes, okay? And I think the arc of the story, and you talk about your mother, when did you know your mother's story? When did you find it out?
I find it out when we immigrated from.
How old were you?
I was 28.
Okay. So it's not clear in this story. Can you take some notes on this?
Mhm.
You grew up not understanding your mother, not understanding why she would say, and then an act out. Can you act out to your mother? Because she's not really in this. I don't hear her voice. So my mother would say to me, I mean, there I was, 8 years old. I fell off my bike. I'm crying. My mother would say, what?
I throw my tantrums because I didn't want to.
My mother would say, become your mother and say it to you.
Say, a big deal. What are you crying about? Go to your, I mean, Go do your homework or go do something more important.
Yeah, than crying. Right, exactly. And it was hard, right? So what you just did was really good. Like, there you are acting out your mother. Now she's in the story. It's a very, very removed story. So here you grew up not knowing your mother's story. And I didn't understand. And then I need a couple more things. Why was I not? I wouldn't do about your grandson. It
Oh,
kind of removes it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you felt that when you said that, but this is about, like, I didn't understand. And I need more act outs, right? And then the story culminates where you go, please tell me your story. And I need that moment. I need to see this every story, and for everybody, this is how you tell a story. You have a character who wants something. In this case, she wants to understand her mother. She's had a very difficult childhood, not allowed to cry. Her mother is, I don't know what PTSD means. I don't know. Her mother maybe also started screaming. We don't know why. It's very unclear. So you need to have like a couple scenes of the PTSD, right? And I'm just a child. I just, want my mother to love me, and I don't understand, what's going on. And it built up a lot of resentment. And, and my mom would never talk about her past. And till finally one day, and I say, Mom, what happened? I don't want to. And then again, we have to see her react. We have to see an act out of your mother. If this is about you and your mother, I hear your voice, but I don't hear her voice. So I want to hear an act out of your mother's voice. And then the story culminates. Well, finally, she tells you the story. And in that moment, I need to see it. Did you just go, thank you, I'm going to write a book about it, see ya? Or did you go, Mom, oh my God, I understand now. And that's when we have that epiphany moment of everything in my life makes sense now. Her life makes sense. So a story isn't like this happened, this happened. This is a story about a girl going, I just want my mom to love me. I want to have a connection, and I couldn't get that. And she would never talk about her life. And then you have a couple scenes like that. Maybe you fell off your bike and you're crying, and she just says, toughen up. Put your mind over matter. It's like, but, and it just hurt. And then some other ones like that, and then she finally tells the story, and then it's fine with how you tell the story in there, right? Because, but I need that moment after you hear the story, how it affects you, and how all of a sudden, and then you see, listening to a story. We need to communicate these stories, because that's what connects us all.
One more thing I just remembered, do you think would be good to add? She would overcompensate to give us, me and my sister, give us better life by letting us sleep in, like, until it's time to go already. We were always late everywhere.
Right.
She wanted us to get better, but letting us sleep in a little bit, 10 minutes.
But why was that hard, and why was that PTSD? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a big statement, PTSD, but then you never refer to it. So if that's what you're going to lead with, it would, or, things. I know a lot. I have a friend who's a child of a Holocaust survivor, and her mother starved her. She finally had to be taken away by Child Protective Services. She didn't feel her child should eat. She was starving. I went to school with her at the high school reunion. She told, I had no idea. My childhood, where I went to school, was a heavily Jewish school, and it was really shocking at our last reunion, now that we're all old, were how many people, their parents were Holocaust survivors, and nobody talked about it until now. And so I think this is Victoria, you're so right on, and I know we have a session together, so we'll work on a little more there. But, you know, this is really good. All right? Really on it.
Okay.
All right. So, Madonna, you have an idea how to do it. Ed Newman, how are you? Ed Newman. Ed Newman. Jen, are you there? I can't.
Hold on, I'm here. I had to unmute myself. Hi.
Hi, do you have a camera or are you just on, you're on your phone?
I'm just not particularly
Hey,
cute.
Jen, there you are. Hi, good to meet you. Now, you're working on comedy, is it?
I am, well, maybe, sort of. I'd like to think that I'm funny, but
Are you doing speaking or comedy? People here are either working on speeches. Obviously, Victoria is not doing that as stand-up club. So,
right.
Your goal is?
My goal is, I feel like it's ever evolving, but I'm getting more clarity now. I would like to do speaking about how people can use humor, specifically people that work in trauma, because that's where I've worked for the past 20 years, how people can use humor to manage trauma at work.
Wow. Trauma at work.
Well,
What about?
so my background is I've worked in domestic violence and sexual assault. And so people that are always on the front lines and kind of that secondhand exposure to other people.
So you would be speaking to people who are therapists?
Who are therapists or caseworkers or medical personnel, things like that. That is where I would like to go.
I find that that'd be interesting approach, using humor, or, you know, because a joke at someone else's expense could really.
Right. And so to be really clear, not right now, baby. To be really clear, this is not like, let's joke about our clients, but more about how do we find humor in ourselves? Like where are the things in our day-to-day that we can find humor in?
Okay, I love this. Like, how to find humor in a really shitty day. But I guess if we're doing therapy,
Right.
we can't use the word shitty. But I really like that. Like, how to look for the funny when things are so. I'm getting someplace, right? How to find the funny when you're surrounded by trauma, you know, or you're surrounded by problems. So what I'd like you to do is, do you have someone you could pitch this to?
Yes, I think
Okay.
so. You mean somebody that would let me come dry run this at a?
Yeah, at a conference or a meeting of some sort.
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me show you. Then in the very first module, when you go to the message of you, there's a video called an introduction video. And what you need to do, and I'm going to share it with you right now, is you really, this is the thing that you pitch, okay? So it starts with, as everything is, you know who, you know how. So can you see these words here?
I can. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know how your audience, so you know how people who work in trauma have this problem. You know, they get depressed, overwhelmed, feelings of hopelessness. You know, you describe what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from my professional experience working not only in trauma and with domestic abuse, but having done stand-up comedy, I'm going to talk about, right, how we can use humor to, whatever you want to say it, to bust a fuse. And, you know, I've learned this from like personal experience of the power of a joke or whatever. And the results that we're going to give people is how to use humor. And this is where you give a bullet list, how to use it appropriately, when not to use it, right? How to relieve stress through joking, right? And I'm going to do this by an interactive workshop, blah, 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 blah. So this ends up, when you fill this out, it ends up to be like no more than 2 minutes or a minute and a half, 90-second pitch. And this is your pitch. Okay.
Great.
So this is, you just download this right on there on, on module 1 and you're set. Okay.
Great.
So good to have you here.
Thank you.
Lori, you're doing something similar, aren't you? Lori?
There we go. Yes, I am. Actually, when you were talking about that, it did sound mighty familiar.
It does. Well, it's a great topic. God knows people could use it right now. So where are you at, Lori?
I dug into module 2 and I just sent you the beginning part about the 3 rhetorical questions and the strong opener.
Oh my God. Okay. You just sent it to me?
No, I mean, I got confirmation of it from you. I sent it yesterday, I think. But I mean, that's all I sent for today was just the strong opener and the 3 questions.
Okay. Fantastic. Do you want to do it for us? I want to hear it.
All right. Let me pull it up.
Wait, I have it right here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm a little lame today. Here, I have it right here.
I was going to say, otherwise I can grab it too.
No, I have it right here. Okay. And then we're going to do an exercise today together. So everybody stay here. Okay. So I have it here. Okay. Ready? Let's hear it. Deliver it.
All right. So this is for the direct selling consultants, independent business owners. So how many of us are dealing with consultants who start off excited, but as soon as someone they talk to doesn't want to buy, host, or join, they give up? Today we're going to learn that by using skills I learned as a former stand-up comedian, audience participation, and an introduction to my 5-step process, we can help our fizzled out consultants shift their mindset and ditch the disaster mentality so they'll be able to self-motivate, resulting in a sustained, unstoppable sales force.
Okay. I would take the salesy stuff out of it because this is your speech, right?
Okay.
Right. So you don't have to sell yourself. So I would do it in a more natural way, such as, how many of you are dealing with someone who start off excited, do an act out there, right?
Okay.
And as soon as someone doesn't want to talk, and do another act out. So let me hear that.
So I did have some of that in my pitch. So just
let me hear that.
Here.
Let me hear you do that.
All right.
How many of you who start off excited, act out, but since they don't talk, they're like, and do another act out. Okay.
Okay.
You ready? Go.
You want me to just do it off the top of my head?
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
The pressure. Okay.
Bullshit your way through this. Go ahead.
How many of us are dealing with consultants who start off so excited, like, I joined this new business and it's the best thing ever, and this time I mean it for sure and I'm going to do it. And then you call them a week later, say, hey, how's it going? And they're like, well, I haven't really gotten to my kit yet. And you're like, I can answer any questions you have. And then you say, I'm going to call you back on Tuesday if I don't hear from you. You call them back again and they're like, yeah, I don't, nobody really wants to buy this stuff. So I'm not really, never mind. Never mind.
So do you see how engaging that is?
Okay.
Do you guys see that? That it's like,
Yes.
It's like act outs are the thing, whether you're doing stand-up comedy, whether you're doing speaking, if you can act somebody out as just go from act out to act out to act out, you will get laughs. You will get engagement. So well done, my friend. Well done, right?
Okay.
You know?
I think I was taking the template maybe a little bit too literally. I mean, I was like not deviating from the questions. Answer, fill in the blank.
Yeah, which is fine because you have the content. You know what you're saying, right? But now we've got to like make it, make it Lori, you know, and
gotcha.
you're just so friggin' funny. So, you know, I mean, so what do we do, people? How do we shift their mindset? Well, that's what I'm going to show you today. I've developed this 5-step process, and it's going to, and I'm going to show you how you get people who say, I'm in, I get it, I understand it, and I'm in it for the long run. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So why should I listen to you? And then this is, how often do you feel like you've wasted time, energy, and grooming? Okay. So we kind of did this, right? You ever? Yeah. But make it more act outs.
Okay. I got it.
Yeah.
I mean,
just because it's all about creating scenes and then being in the scene. Right?
and I'm more comfortable in that mode anyway, because I do feel like this is too canned at this point. So
yeah, well, I've recorded this. I'll put this up on the YouTube page, so you can just go and hear what you said, and you'll just hear how you light up. Just awesome.
I feel like you got me back in the right direction, Judy.
Good, good. But don't put yourself down for doing the work that was in the videos, because you know now what you need to say. And
doing what you said. Okay, no.
But I always do this when I work with people. Like I that's why I don't do what I call a color or humor pass until after the content's in. Okay, fantastic.
All right, thank you.
All right. Did anybody else give me something? Kirsten, Kristen, I'm sorry. Kristen, are you there? Hello? Oh.
I am here. I did not turn in homework. I'm new.
You're new, so that's cool. That's cool.
I'm observing and I'm learning.
You're observing, you're learning. Tell me what you want to learn. Do you want to do comedy, or you want to do speaking?
Corporate speaking is definitely my goal, but with the humor element. I'm one of those things that nobody likes in comedy. I'm a ventriloquist. So I come from the comedy end, but corporate speaking is my goal. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to do a couple things after I just see who else is here. Carla, and then we're gonna break up into twos, and we got a lot done in the primary place, so this is all good. Carla, how are you? Good to see you.
Hi, I'm good. I can't. Oh, well, let me try that.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with my camera.
It's all right. Okay. All right. And I'm going to have a word with everybody, but I just want to show you guys a couple things that I have learned that are really pretty awesome. Did any of you see the webinar that I did on how comics can make a living? Anybody? Well,
I did. It was great. With Jason, you're talking about?
Yeah, with Josh.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. And
yes, I saw it.
Oh, good. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that we are all on the right track here, because according to Josh, it's so important to know your audience. Okay, you can't. This was so interesting to me. The notion that, especially those of us with comedy backgrounds, want everybody to love us, and that is not the way to go, because it's really important to really key in on who you are, what you've been doing, and who is your audience. Does that make sense? So, for instance, I've decided that, I coach people to speak, and I've decided I'm only going to work with doctors, right? I only want to work with doctors and scientists. and help them be funnier and help them speak and help them have an innovative message. And when you key in to a very specific audience that you want to speak to, or you want to do comedy to, and all you have to do is look around at your life and you see who you hang around with and who relates to you. It becomes so much easier to market yourself. For instance, let's say you're a high school teacher and you're funny and you write a lot of material about being a teacher. What if then you take that and you take Facebook ads out, where you can get Facebook ads for like 3 pennies, 3 cents a click. It's very cheap. And you focus it just on teachers, like teachers' humor. Pretty soon you'll be able to fill a comedy club. All right, or for instance, the guy who did Defending the Caveman and ended up on Broadway, his whole thing was couples, difference between men and women. And he just targeted therapists, couples therapists. And he ended up able, night after night, to fill theaters. So it's all about, like, what is your material, what is your background, and who can you speak to? And once you have your video and it's very clear what you do, a way to get traffic is Facebook ads. And yes, niche marketing is what it's called. It's the only kind of marketing, because you can't be something to everyone, okay? So let's say you're a Trump supporter and you're one of those people, and you have an act like Andrew Dice Clay that just, those horrible, what are 30,000 battered women at the bottom of the ocean called? They don't want to, what was his joke? What do 30,000 battered women at the bottom of the ocean have in common? They don't fucking listen, right?
Oh, God.
Horrible. I've seen him perform that joke. I've walked out. People have walked out. Yeah. Huge career. Because he appeals. Sometimes when people hate you, that's where you get your audience. For instance, on the other end of that, Susan Westenhofer is gay. And and this is like 20 years ago, she'd perform at comedy clubs and right away she'd talk about being gay. And she'd be at a place where they would be real rednecks and they'd heckle and they would hate her. They'd walk out. But I got to tell you, the 20 people who adored her became diehard fans. So that's how this works. So I encourage you all to really nurture your audience and who that is, okay? And what I'd like to do, and then come back, and then we'll have more time to talk about this, because I think this is so important. And that's why it's the first step of the Message of You formula, is your audience. So let me break you up into 2s and some 3s, and I want to just know, like, who is your audience? Who are they? Where can you find them? If you did a Facebook ad, who would you target? It's like for instance, if I'm teaching people how to speak and I'm doing a workshop on speaking, I might target Toastmasters. So you can actually do searches in Facebook where it's people who are Toastmasters, and there's so many Toastmasters group, and they mine all this data, and this is the way of the world. So we really have to be savvy about it. Or church comedy, like, different denominations or Jewish stuff. You have to find your people. So let's come out of this, and I'd really like to know who your people are. So we're going to break everybody into groups, and then the people I haven't spoken to, let's see, how does this work? I'm just doing this randomly. Looks okay. All right. So I'm going to, everybody click on where you are and join your room. And Okay. All right, Madonna and Ed you guys don't seem to be, Ed, can you join a room? Move to.
Where do I find the chat? Oh, here it
Well,
is.
yeah, here's
Yeah,
the
do you
chat.
see the chat?
Got
Here it is, the chat.
I got it.
Yeah, you got it, and then you hit enter and it goes in.
Yeah, I got that part.
Okay. Okay. PR people, employees, and such. Young adults, middle school, university. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to mute some because it's a little noisy right here. Okay. So, okay. So I'm going to just give us a couple suggestions so we could keep tweaking this as I read this. Film and television studios and streaming platforms. Drill down, just get a little more specific, okay? Like on that, Karen. Okay, HR people or employees inside large corporations. Way too large, okay? Janice, drill down. Victoria, young adults. Middle school, university. Get a little more specific. I just think it's more like Jewish studies, diversity, Jewish Federation. Right now, I like you, Victoria, to just put into Google Jewish organizations. So you have to be able to put in Google and things come up. So if you put young adults into Google, nothing will come up. Maybe it'll become young adult fiction, but it's not Googleable. Googleable. So come with something. Lori, direct selling company that holds conventions for independent consultants. You know, Lori, that's really good. You might give me an example, like drill down a little bit of what kind of products, timeshares or something just a little more specific. Okay, Dawn, inexperienced, infrequent, ineffective business presenters. What kind? Are you talking about women speakers? You know, it's way too vague. Okay, niche marketing. And okay, so let's have everybody put in an organization that would be right for you to speak to. Okay, and I think that'll help us get a little more specific. Okay, Karen, large corporate conferences like HBO, Netflix, okay, LinkedIn. Okay, large entertainment conferences have access to celebrities. And I hate to say it, but like they can get Brad Pitt to come speak. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but Brad Pitt is not an expert in radical self-care for creatives.
Okay, radical self-care for creatives. Okay, radical self-care for creatives. What kind of creatives? You're talking creative painters, musicians?
I mean, I feel like my tribe is actors, directors, producers, writers.
Okay, actors, thank you. Now we're getting actors. So actors is niche marketing to actors. Okay. Drill down more with that. What kind of actors? So so people were not drilling down enough. This is a great start. So it looks like this breakout was successful. Counselors, there are folks that work with trauma survivors. Okay, Jen, very good. You're on it. How about everybody listening now, go in another window to Google and see what comes up in terms of organizations who would have a speaker, okay? Carla, chronically ill or seniors or recovering addicts. Okay, mentally ill like bipolar. Yeah. Seniors like Carla, look up some organizations that would be appropriate for that. AARP comes to mind. Seniors, patient care things would be good.
I think there's an association of nursing homes somewhere.
Yes, I actually have done 5 keynotes for them, and they pay full price. So that was awesome. Yes, nursing places that manage nursing homes hire speakers, because I did it. It was in Orange County. It was really funny. Entrepreneurs, too large. Hadassah. Oh, for Victoria. Yeah. Hadassah is a great group. Those you don't know, it's a Jewish group. Karen, American Publisher Association, voiceover Atlanta, voiceover conferences, voiceover and training organizations. Okay, go to Google, Karen. You're on it. You're on it, girl. Stressed out workers. Janice. It's not a niche. That's it's not a niche, stressed out workers. It's a description of a mood. So a niche would be something like, everybody is stressed. Okay, right. So that's everybody. It's not a niche.
Right, exactly.
So I want you to drill down to a niche, girl. Okay.
Okay, so when we're ready to talk about marketing, I have a question about it.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question?
So I have a long spreadsheet of HR-related organizations. When I contact them about who's in charge of selecting speakers, I was talking to Lori about this, I get pigeonholed into a free breakout speaker category. So I'm not quite sure how to communicate that I'm looking for a paid gig.
Yeah, well, those are celebrity speakers. Do you ever have celebrity speakers or renowned keynoters would be the way to go on that. Do you have a budget for
professional keynoters?
Professional keynoters, celebrity keynoters.
Okay.
Yeah. And that. Okay.
Okay.
HR. I've done some HR gigs. They're really horrible audiences. Was that appropriate? All right. Lori, right. A fragrance, damsel in defense, self-defense products. Mary Kay Cosmetics. I did a Mary Kay convention as well. I've done so many of these things. Lori, really good. Mary Kay Cosmetic paid me full fee. You know, when I say full fee, right? Sometimes I do things and it's like, you know, I'll give them a bargain price because I wasn't doing anything, or they couldn't afford, or I'm looking to get a video, right? And I'll drop my fee. Mary Kay was a full fee. Janice, any HR conference? Okay. Yeah, HR tends to abuse people. I know it's counterintuitive, but they do tend to abuse and don't pay. Although I did do some HR things, but it was within the company. You know, it was like Genentech hired me, the HR for that. But okay, any audience, my audience is risk managers, insurance underwriters, National Safety Council seminars. John Morris, that's really good. I did, oh God, what was the organization I did? I'm going to try and find it on my computer. It's something that starts with P. They have a really good budget, and you should hit the safety stuff. Oh my God, they'd love you. So there's OSHA. John, you should make a list of that.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking for my corporate happy letters, by the way. So I'll share this with you. You guys can see my desktop in a second. Happy letters. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you. Here it is. Okay, so whenever I hire someone hires me, and I remember it started with a P. Let's see. PPP. God, what was it? You know, so I keep all the happy letters, right? So let's just say here's Xerox, Women's Hospital New Harmony, Women, Manchester Medical, West Virginia Women, Business, let's see, Lead, Wall Street Journal. United Services of America.
Universal Services?
Universal Services of America. Let's see who the hell they were. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go. Oh, sorry. Let's go back here. I'm just looking for this really, if I can find it really, really quickly. Oh, Jesus. 1 second. Oh, one second. My computer went just AWOL. Okay. It was, oh my God. They have one in each state. It's a safety thing. And I don't know. Look at John Deere hired me. The FAA hires people.
Yeah.
Yeah, FAA is good. But I'm looking for this one thing. I just can't find it. So, was it? Some of them are so many acronyms, but I don't know. All right. What's this one? AAP. I don't know. Anyway, so by the way, Universal Service. Oh, here's a good one for you. Let me share this with you. Yeah, this is a good one. Desktop. Look at this one, John. Florida Airports Council annual conference last week. Airports. Every single city has an airport authority. They pay full fee. Right? They gave me a T-shirt. Press that you're among our speakers. Spectacular event. One would heart to blah, 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 blah. Okay? All the airports. John, you have a lot of places you could hit.
Okay.
For your speech. Okay? So here's one that they hired me. So what, go figure. All right. So let me just continue looking here. Lori, damsel in defense, self-defense products. America. We talked about that. Direct selling association members. Excellent. And then I'm going to tell you what to do with all this information. You guys are on it. The California Partnership to End Domestic Violence. Jen, good. I like the way you think, girl. Carly, you don't do actual nursing homes. No, why would you? It's a bad audience.
Terrible.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But they do have money for like, singers and things like that, but
It's like $100. You got to bring your own PA, and
yeah.
people are moaning and interjecting. It's not worth it.
I was there visiting friends of my mother, and there was like this wonderful opera singer, and I just went, oh my God, there by the grace of God go I, I mean, it was like, thank God that's not me.
Last
Harvard,
one I played, someone was like, they're wasting our money on music.
Harvard Department of the Arts. Karen, that's a wonderful idea for you to get a credit. The whole thing is to get yourself out there on the court, and you went to Harvard, didn't you?
Did.
Yeah. Isn't everybody instantly more impressed with Karen?
Yeah.
Here's this thing. Read, and now we're at Harvard. What the fuck? Right. So Karen, if you could just volunteer to speak there, to get it as a credit, come in and teach a class in the Harvard Drama Department or Yale Drama or whatever it is as an alumni.
Right.
Like I did that with USC to teach a comedy class. It's just a great thing. And then they turn you on to other people.
It's great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm not sure my message is for people who are overseeing patients, more for actual patients, their loved ones. Yeah, Carla, that's problematic because they don't pay. They're sick. They got medical bills. And yeah. By the way, I like your hair. It's really light.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to write something else, people. You guys are going to be experts in your pursuit. What materials do you have to give them? Okay, so here's what you need, all right? And Josh talked about this, and I'm engaged in this topic because I'm writing the last part of my book about marketing, Comedy Bible. And what you need is you don't need to create a lot of content, but you need some really, really good content, like a blog or a YouTube video or something that teaches what you are putting out, like that really defines you as an expert. And then you can then take, because Janice is having a hard time. She's such a go-getter, Janice, because she's there doing something that a lot of us don't have the patience or the guts to do, and directly call people. A better way of doing it is to put something on the internet that is like fabulous advice, like for whoever your group is, like direct sales, like 5 horrible mistakes direct sales people make, that ruin your whatever it is. And then what you do is there's this free program. Let me show you this free program. Boy, am I tips galore today, aren't I, kids? So let me show you this wonderful program. All right, let me get this. Let me get the program up. Okay, so you can see that. I'm going to go to youtube.com. Okay, so let's see if I go to one of my channel. I'll go to my channel, okay? Or I go to any video. Let's see if I go this. Okay, do you see this? It's called vidIQ.
Judy Carter.
All right, shut up. Okay, vidIQ. Do you guys see that? Someone say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so this tells you your stats, okay? And how many views, and hold on one second, my cat's crying. Hold on.
Karen, did you get your proposal finished?
Okay.
I did. I submitted 4 speaker proposals.
Oh, right. Good.
Okay, so if I go to, let's just say, if I go to like do this, and I go to keynote speaker, funny. I don't know. Let's see, funny keynote speaker. All right, who's going to come up? Let's see, top motivational funny stress speaker. Okay, right, 15,000 views, right? Whoever this person is, I don't know, but she's doing better than I am. Okay, so what we want to do, okay, Francis, okay? So here she is with her thing. So vidIQ lets me see what are her words that she uses. Do you see this? You see the video tags right here?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I can export this. And here's her channel tags. And that's why she's coming up really high in this. And so, and it tells you like how to optimize your description. They say hers is too short, the title is too long, whatever. But this tells you how to do that. And I think this program's free. I don't think I'm paying for it, or maybe I paid $10 or something. So it's called vidIQ. Okay? Everybody see that? And so then this is a woman, funny motivational keynote speaker, funny female stress speaker. And look, I can click a button here, and this is only available for Pro, and then I can download it. But if I didn't want to download it, I could just take a picture of it and change it. So she has motivational speaker, wellness speaker, funny female speaker, hilarious speaker, and she's #1 with funny female speaker. So there you go. All right. And then you can go, let's see, funny female speaker. All right. And then what comes up? All right, here it is. All right. So there you go. There you have it on that. All right. So, all right. Okay, so really good information here from me about, now I want you to write something else in this. I'd like you all to write, yes, Carla, that program vidIQ works just with YouTube, but just download it, put it in. It's just an add-on to Chrome, and then I think the professional version. I haven't had time to get into all of this stuff, but anyway, so the next step. What are they going to see? So let's say you've reached in stuff. You're finding keywords. You're finding the people who want to see you. Now, what do you show them? Okay, so write in some ideas of what you're going to show them. What are you going to show them? Because you first want to present yourself as somebody who has content. Okay, someone who has really good content. So what is it that you're going to show them that shows like you're worth every penny of what you do? What are you going to offer them? Let's write some ideas. Write them in the chat. Anybody writing? I have a 22-minute speaking tips on my YouTube channel. Okay. I have 28 2-minute speaking tips. Okay, good. What you need is really just one thing that's really good. Okay, really good to get traffic. So like if I realized I have too much content, and that actually, so if you just have one article or a couple articles, maybe three blogs that are really good and have really good information that relates exactly to your niche market. So let's just say you have like a blog that just is like for instance, if I write a blog on how physicians can make an extra 100,000 a year by speaking. And it's just about physicians and healthcare speakers. That then maybe with also a video of me speaking at an event and maybe a couple testimonials, that's really all you need. Okay? Because you're giving people, you got to give people something for free. All right? And it's not just your first step, your first touch with them needs to be establishing yourself as an expert.
Judy, I have some blogs on my website. Do I want to create like a new one, or if there's any one particular one that I especially like that really seems to capture the essence of me?
Don, who are you going after?
Well, I'm still, I guess, working on, because I'm too vague, but mine was the inexperienced, infrequent, ineffective business presenters, newbies to speak.
Okay, so let's just say, like, for instance, at a time, I'm not at this place right now, but I was looking for coaching clients, right? And looking, so I contributed an article on adding humor to a speech, and I wrote it for Toastmasters magazine, and they paid me something to write it as well. So I have this article, and then I could have taken that article, it went out to all these Toastmasters, and I got a significant amount of work from it. And that's just one article, but it's a well-placed article. So, so then if I did content specifically for Toastmasters, which is no longer my audience now, because to me that's a low-end audience, they don't like paying a lot of money for things at all. They're not like NSA speakers would be, but the competition with them is very high because everybody in NSA is a speaking coach. I don't think anybody in NSA actually speaks. I think they're all coaches. But so you have to really think this through, right? Yeah. So who do you want to? And it has to do with your background. So what would be really more successful is if you went like speaking tips for accountants to get more business. Do you see? If you had been an accountant. So that's how that works. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
A matter of fact, in the university, Heather Luntz has a video about SEO. I don't think SEO works anymore, quite frankly, although it worked for that girl who I said, funny keynote speaker, funny female speaker. But it does work with your, in collaboration with advertising. And I got to tell you, rather than, spending a lot of money on PR person, any of that, you just spend it on, oh, sorry, you guys. Sorry.
On your dogs.
Anyway, so Facebook ads. That's the way to go. Okay, Victoria, you had, and audiobooks. So let me just say, your PF, yeah, a PDF could be an ebook. I mean, it's so easy to publish, but it's something that we want to give away for free. An ebook is a great thing to do. I wrote the Message of You journal. I mostly give it away for free, although people buy it on Amazon. But, I'll just say here's a free gift, and then people will contact me from that, or what they got out of it, or how it's changed their life. And then you collect things like that. So if you're going after, like, for instance, Janice, a better pitch rather than calling and saying, I like to speak for your group, is I have an article I'd like to contribute to your newsletter. Or, for instance, I wrote an article about, for meeting planners that got published in a meeting planner newsletter about how to pick the right speaker. It's just, you want to give value to people, so your first touch with them is something that is perfect for them, right? And then you have relationships, and that's how this all rolls now, okay? Anybody have questions? Just open up your mic. We have some time for questions.
Yeah, Judy, I wanted to know how long you recommend a blog post be. I'm never
500 words.
500 words.
Yeah, but it all depends. It just depends. But 500 words and visually laid out is really a good thing.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Anybody? Oh, I was going to show you one more thing that I wanted to show you, and that is how I write a speech for somebody else. And I'll show you just really quickly this in our last few minutes. Okay, here's a speech I wrote for an oncologist who's delivering it, and he immediately got a lot of gigs. So this is a program called Scrivener, okay, and what I put here is my formula. If you can see here on the left side, it says core promise, the problem, okay. So he's speaking to physicians, and he's speaking about, resuscitating their passion for their job. So I put the core promise here, which is, I have a question for you. How many of you woke up this morning saying, God, I love my life. My work life is so perfect. I guess I do have a problem. I make way too much money. I have way too much sex, and I'm at my perfect weight. Anyone? All right. So he talks about the problem. So the problem becomes surgeons have alcohol dependence. Doctors are making more mistakes. 98,000 people die every year from mistakes. Because he's working for a doctor, a physician audience, I know those people like statistics. So they want documentation. So I made sure he had a lot of them in. Suicide, doctors are committing suicide. They're depressed. Repeat a core promise. Well, so the very people who heal each other need a lot of healing. Then his story about someone else. And he tells a story about his patient named Flavie, who had stage 4 cancer, who taught him about life and taught him about living and taught him. And then he goes into his action step 1. Action step 1, CPR is connection. And this is what Flavie taught him. And the call to action. And he says, the call to action step 2 is P for presence. Then the action step 2 story. And action step 3 is resilience. And then I had a little story I put in here, but then it goes into his heart story about his own encounter with near death and a final call to action. So, when you do it like this, it's just the formula really works. So if you're writing a speech, core promise, problem, here's aspects of the problem, repeat a core promise, credential story, it's like a story of somebody else who made a difference in your life, or you made a difference in their life, and then your action steps, each with stories. The last one has your heart story, and the final call to action. And when you do it like this, and I just first do in this program, and then I transfer it over to Word, and then I finish it. But it makes it so much easier to write, okay? And before I wrote this, I took all of his stories, and he had a lot of stories because he's writing a book, and he had like 20 stories. So I had to read through all the stories and pick 3, and then laid them next to, his action steps. So, and then I have here his introduction, title ideas, statistics that I want to put in about suicide rates, the stats, alcohol abuse, doctors make mistakes. And then here I have just extra shit I didn't use. Does that make sense? So that's the way you write a speech. But the formula is there, and if you go to module 2, you'll have no problem writing the speech, really. Just, have it make sense. That's it for today. I hope you got value from all of this.
Yes, ma'am. So much value.
I hope you got value. I'm a little insecure today. But,
Yay,
oh, you published an audiobook. Really good. I just, the things that you give people for value, you make it be short. You make it be short. The truth is, how I found Josh was I looked up marketing for comics online. I wanted to know what's out there. And his article came up. I read his article, 17 tips for marketing stand-up comics. And I went, this is amazing because there's nothing else on the internet about that. So I immediately called him up and I hired him. I hired him to do a consult. So that's how this works. Okay. So you guys, hang in there. Welcome to all the new people. Love having you here. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, I'll send you a link to this YouTube video if you need to look through it and find your part in it and see anything you missed. Okay? I'll leave this open if you guys want to chat or something. So, all right. So see you guys soon.